Now, I told you earlier that we were going to install some additional software on here so that the virtual machine runs a little bit smoother. For example, the mouse integration could be a little better. Now, the way VirtualBox handles that is they install a guest edition CD-ROM over this virtual machine. So if I click on this, I go to Devices, Install Guest Editions. This, by the way, VirtualBox is considered a guest. It's a guest to the host, which is my main system. Main system's a host. The virtual system is a guest. So I'm going to run this VirtualBox Editions, and what that does is it allows better integration between the two. So I'm going to go ahead and run that. And this will probably require a reboot. And I also want to show you how to change this background and adjust the screen size a little bit and do a few things to tweak it so that it runs a little bit better. So rather than reboot it, I'm going to shut it down, but I want to show you something here. If I go to Settings, you can see everything's pretty much grayed out. You can't really change anything while the virtual machine is running. Okay, so in order to adjust any of these settings, we have to always shut the machine down first. Now, this is a real Windows operating system, so just like your normal computer, you don't want to just close it. It's like unplugging it from the wall. In fact, VirtualBox will give you an error message. Let me see. If I close it, it'll say, whoa, do you want to save the state? Do you want to send the shutdown signal? That would be just like doing the start shutdown as normal. Or do you want to just power this thing off? That's the last option, because if I say, no, just kill it, well, then when I go to restart Windows, it's going to say, hey, you didn't shut me down properly. So the best way, of course, you can do any of those, but the best way to do this is, well, now I'm showing you two things at once. So I don't want to restart it. I want to shut it. I'm going to shut this down. So first, I'm just going to say reboot it later. Now I'm going to go ahead and shut down this virtual machine, just like you'd shut down any computer. So let's let that go down, and then you're going to see our settings will no longer be grayed out. They'll be lit up just a little bit so that now, we can make some adjustments. If you have a lot of RAM on your system, you can move this up to make the virtual machine a little more efficient. But keep in mind, the more RAM you give a virtual machine, the less RAM your main system has. So you need to do a careful balance. By default, when we set up this virtual machine, the way Microsoft set it up, it didn't include any audio drivers, and it didn't include any USB drivers. So if you noticed earlier, when I was running VirtualBox, my speaker had a little red X on it, and that was because I didn't have any audio. So I can go ahead and enable the audio, and when I start the machine, I can use that. So Windows doesn't know offhand what my motherboard has until I enable this. So you can use well, I don't want to go through the details of the audio controller because it's all different. I'll just select as defaults. Now, also on USB, if I say enable the USB, I have a microphone plugged in here and I have different things. When I start Windows, those devices will pop up inside the virtual machine so that you can use those. I can also share folders. I can add a folder from my system. If I say other, I can click a folder and add it. Of course, I have to enable networking on the virtual machine to be able to see these networked folders. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of these additional features. Now, with the audio checked and USB checked, as you can see with VirtualBox 5.0, you can go all the way up to USB 3.0. It will transfer those into the virtual box. So I'm just going to go ahead for now and just leave the USB enabled. I'm going to leave the audio enabled, and I'm going to go ahead and start this virtual machine that way.